Good morning. Where are we?
Everywhere. I
Good
guess we're on
morning, Earth.
Twitch, so that probably makes the most sense.
Good morning, Twitch and Earth.
Twitch and Earth. Really funny. We'll
yeah, here we are.
Let's give everyone a couple minutes to roll in here. Here we go.
And how long has it been, guys? How long has it been? Has it been? It's been a
14
year,
months?
hasn't it?
A year.
14 months. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. 14 months since we're back here, talking to CrabbyTerror, and this time Kevling joining us, the Kev himself. These two are world famous throughout Earth and Twitch and the Arkhamverse for founding the League of Extraordinary Investigators. That's been going since 2018, was it?
2019?
Or 2019?
8 seasons, 9 seasons.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Wow, yeah, it's
when you're getting mutilated and killed over and over again.
yeah, I'm still
It's
coming
okay.
bottom of the table. I'm still coming last. It's I've
that's
won that
good.
wooden spoon. I don't know how many times.
Yeah, but what you guys have going for is that so, like the two of you in particular, like you like pick a concept that is not necessarily like the sexiest concept. Like you'll play something like what you want to play, like Rita or Ashcan, but you don't go with you guys don't go with the crowd. You guys don't like, okay, I'm gonna sit and make this like ridiculous like seeker combo or or mystic combo or rogue combo. You usually pick a survivor and you just try to make it work. And so I my hat is off to you for that. Just like kind of like me and Lola Hayes.
Oh, I go completely random. A random investigator with a chaos generated deck.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So that means if I do badly, I can blame that. I don't.
Perfect. Oh my god, that's brilliant.
Oh
That's genuinely brilliant.
Not quite sure what my excuse is then.
I think Kev, you're coming in really low. I don't know how it sounds on Nate's end, but
yeah, a bit quiet. Yeah.
Right, it's our simi.
yeah. But Kev, I've had many fond memories of Saturday morning or Sunday morning coffee with Kev, where I watch Kev watch Kev with his like weird board and like where it's all on the side and you got like the little time tracker going of like which phase it is.
Yeah.
It's like
he's got some Excel programming going on. And I don't know what's going on. It's pretty impressive though.
yeah, the lengths to which we go to avoid using TTS. Yeah.
Actually, I have a little piece of printout paper that you did, Kevling, the
and the little
phase tracker
token down.
Yeah, I have that. I bring that out every time I play.
Oh, that's
Phase tracker.
Yeah, phase tracker. Yeah.
I discovered
I
something recently.
follow all the phases through, and I still get it wrong and miss stuff and make all sorts of mistakes. And just imagine what it would be like without it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. I see we have Vase Odin in the chat here. I know he could tell you. He could commiserate with you about like missing triggers and like having to look at 5 different cards to understand what's going on. Yeah, but my least favorite is story cards with triggered abilities. Those get me because it's like, who looks at the story card just to be like, oh man, I could take an action to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, so many.
For me, it's always locations. I always forget about stuff on locations, like forced effect on locations. You're like, all right, I'm going to go investigate, do this, and then move on. You're like, ah, dang it.
I remember the classic that we learned from season 1, of the league was everyone forgets the VIP lounge in House Always Wins.
Oh, always.
Everyone forgets it.
You're just like, I'm going to investigate, and you're like, wait, damn it. It really should be called Arkham Horror Asterisk, the card game.
Yeah, exactly.
Every victory is inconclusive, and the points don't matter.
Yeah.
It reminds me, I've been playing a lot of Lord of the Rings lately, and Lord of the Rings can get really crazy. But that's part of the fun, to be honest. It's like, there's so many locations in play, and some of them have like persistent effects, but it doesn't matter because you know how like you get to the point where it's so crazy, you just kind of wing it, and you don't care anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's what worries me about. I'm doing the investigator games later with Kaimani Jones, and uh, uh, if I've got Kaimani down and I've got the grappling hook down and I've got 3, it's just going to start. Yeah, I don't know. I'll just see how I go.
Yeah. Kamani's pretty decent though. I've been Kamani's been getting a lot of play locally.
Yeah. I mean, awesome ability to evade and get rid of enemies. So
yeah, it's been working out. Oh, are we getting started?
Yes. We've been doing some preamble while you guys are chit-chatting. It's been fun. I'm also kind of making sure I got everything set up on my end too. But I think you guys are good to go. Ooh. Hello, Joe.
Okay.
Nice to see you in chat this morning.
Does the chat pop up on Discord or is it on Twitch?
It is on Twitch, yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Oh, and look at this. We are $80 in already, and you haven't even started your content, and we're $80 in. This is great.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Let me pulling up my tracker. I'm in as is always, I've got a brain in a jar, like I call the Migo brain case. It was like it's got a lettering across the top that says Migo brain case, and the Migo brain case is like in a live feed, talking to the other Migo brain case at Horrors Without Borders headquarters, and I am getting up to the second, like it's like a quantum connection. I'm getting like up to the second updates on where the money is going and how much appreciation the doctors have, because we in the mythos we know how to transcend borders with Migo brain cases.
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. Quantum connection. Okay, and our top donor at the moment is lighthouse keeper Nathan Early himself. Yeah, that's right. I know about him. He's the guy who that documentary with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. Yeah, that was about his story. I'm so glad to see that he's come back to us, and he's got his Migo brain case, providing the donations, and it looks like he's doing pretty well. So glad to see you here, Nathan Early.
Good on him. That's fantastic. Good on him.
And we have a $15 donation from Tom Cox as well. Thank you very much, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the other lighthouse keeper from that documentary. That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we have a $20 donation from Innkeeper Vase Odin himself. Thank you very much, Vase. Thank you for your generosity. So
yep, he also gets the first in award for being the first chatter in the chat today with the message "Good luck, guys." Yeah, and then, but I think it looks like our very first donation that came in back in time. Somebody went back to the 1920s. I'm seeing the date on the check. It says here, Bronze Age nerd. Oh wait, it's literally from the Bronze Age. Has made a donation all the way back in time, just coming in through the Migo brain case from Bronze Age nerd. He says, "Good luck on the event for a great cause."
Awesome.
All right, so Nate, why don't you introduce our two guests, and we'll be off to the races.
Well, as is tradition with Horrors Without Borders, we need CrabbyTerror8 to kick us off, and this time he's brought a guest, and it's wonderful to have you both here this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening, depending on where you live. And you guys are hosting a live episode of your, I would say, world famous podcast, Flavor Text. So I guess before we get into the show, why don't you guys give us a little synopsis of what your show is about?
Yeah, so Flavor Text is a podcast which looks at the intersection between lore, story, and gameplay. Arkham Horror, the card game, scenario by scenario. So we literally step through every single scenario. We look how well the gameplay balances against the narrative and the lore. And we look at that also across the campaign. So we're now in Forgotten Age. We're about a third of the way through the Forgotten Age. We just finished covering Threads of Fate. So yeah, that's what the podcast focuses on. So yeah. So that's so we're but we thought, what would we do today rather than just doing that? So Kevling, what were we thinking of doing today?
Yeah. What we thought was, obviously, rather than just take the next scenario in sequence, we thought we'd sort of take a moment to sort of look back at the campaigns we've covered so far and pull out our favourite flavour texts that we've come across from all of those scenarios, but also the player cards as well, because we're not covering player cards as part of the podcast, other than occasionally we'll look at the investigators that come with the campaign, and there's a lot of good flavour text there as well. So we thought we'd give that a go. So we're covering player cards up to Forgotten Age. So keeping in sync with the campaigns we've covered so far.
Yep. And spoilers for anybody
Oh yeah, there were definitely
who
spoilers.
hasn't played the Dunwich Legacy or Carcosa or anything. We'll be spoiling a couple of cards as we go through. But the criteria was funny things, obviously, but also pieces of text which were evocative, funny, or plain interesting, or those sorts of things. So we took those as the criteria for our choices, and so we were gonna go through those in the next 50 minutes or so.
Well,
So
without any further ado, go for it.
Okay, shall I kick off, Kevling, or do you want to kick off?
Yeah, sure. No, you go first.
Okay, so the first one I'm going to go with, I wanted to go all the way back to The Gathering, because I played The Gathering nearly 50 times on the investigator games. So I think I know it like the back of my hand. And I was looking at the flavor text for The Attic, and this is one of my favorite pieces of flavor text. So the attic, before you actually uncover the attic, it says the smell of rotten meat assaults your nostrils as you approach the attic stairs. And then when you uncover the location, you take a horror in the attic. And the flavor text says, the bloody carcass of a malformed beast swings from a meat hook, chained to the ceiling, blood drains slowly from the carcass, dripping into a small barrel. I just think that's a lovely, such a gross image. And actually the artwork on it is fantastic. Not so much for the bloody carcass in the barrel, but there's some haberdashery and some paint pots in the attic as well. So it's sort of quite an interesting tableau. Also, it's a small barrel. I never noticed that. Do you think that's enough to hold the blood of a malformed beast? I'm not sure, but yeah, that's a fantastic text from the attic in The Gathering.
A little bit of foreshadowing there, isn't it? It's small enough for you to carry back down the stairs.
Yes, yeah, I guess so. Yep.
Okay, so the first card I've got, I'm looking at the player cards, and I've fished out I've Got a Plan. Famous piece of art. You recognise it every time you see it. A couple of wires connecting a door handle to an electricity supply, sparking away. But the flavour text you often miss. That's the worst plan I've ever heard. Well, what are we waiting for?
I love it.
That sums up many plays in the game as well, doesn't it? That sounds absolutely awful. Well, go on, let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, someone's going to get electrocuted on that. I've Got a Plan for sure, and it's not going to be the monster for sure. The next one I have is Return to the Gathering, which I rather like this. This is the hole in the wall, which I think is off the hallway, and it has the flavor text. I need this like I need a hole in my wall, which is like hole in the head. So there you go.
Excellent. I do like a nice pun. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
In
Next one.
fact, it was such a nice pun. Wait, we got something. The brain case is lighting up here. Okay, it's your pun is so great, and apparently we have such great fans of your podcast, especially you, Crabby Terror, that I'm seeing you got some fans. They're calling themselves Crabby Terror Jr. 1, 2, and 3. They have donated $200 to Doctors Without Borders. So they're taking the top spot. And I don't know if they saw. No, if they didn't see, sadly, because we're also running with every donation. You get to contribute to the poll of favorite Mythos monster. And right now, the Shoggoths are in the lead for the favorite Mythos monster. And but they decided not to weigh in on this. Maybe they're waiting for you. Yeah.
My kids love them. Good on them.
Amazing.
All right, carry on.
Hey, donating my money. Hey, guys.
Okay, next one I've got also from Dunwich is painkillers. I mean, again, yeah, it's pretty recognisable art. You just take a couple of pills out of the little container there, but the flavour text there is "Do not exceed the recommended dose."
Like that's going to happen. Yeah. The next one I have here is the bedroom. Oh, my glasses are steaming up. Look at that. Oh. I'm so excited. My glasses are steaming up.
Thought
Boy.
of that money your family's just spent.
There goes the family holiday. Okay, and it says a shadow dance. So this again is from the Return to the Gathering. And it's particularly evocative. This is not a bedroom you want to enter, really. A shadow dances across the floor beneath the bedroom door as you approach. And the flavor text says, the bed sheets are tattered and a strange symbol is drawn on the fabric. Blood pools at the foot of the closet door, and you can hear something chewing inside. I think I stayed in a university dorm that was a bit like that once, but that just really evocative, really great.
Excellent. So my next one is a Guardian event. It is "I'll see you in hell," and it's simply, I mean, the functionality of the card is each non-elite enemy engaged with you is defeated. You are defeated, and you suffer a trauma, but at least you don't provoke an attack of opportunity while you're doing it. But the flavor text just sums that up simply. He flicked open the lighter and made his peace.
Awesome.
Just
awesome.
Boom. Yes.
This next one is Midnight Masks. And this one disturbed me a little bit. It's Southside, which is fine, Southside in the Midnight Masks. And it says middle-class houses with gambrel roofs crowd together between the streets of Southside. The neighbourhood is known for its cultural and social landmarks, such as South Church, Mars Boarding House, and the Historical Society. And if you actually get Mars Boarding House, I'd never read this flavour text before. Maybe someone else has a view on what this means. Mars is famous for its cheap rooms and mystery meat Mondays. A motley variety of characters can be found coming and going at all times of the day. What's a mystery meat Monday? What the hell is she? No, exactly. What is being served at Mars Boarding House? I wonder. Yeah.
Fantastic. Next one I have is True Grit. It's a Guardian asset. And it's probably one of a few where you're sort of seeing a little bit of an influence here in the flavour text, and I think it's a bit of a Monty Python influence on this one. I might be wrong. But yeah, the artwork there is your investigator sort of slumped against the wall with a bandage across his chest, blood seeping through it. But the flavour text is, it's just a flesh wound.
No, it's not. Your arm's off.
Yeah. There's not enough Monty Python references in Arkham. We need some more. This next one I have is from the Devourer Below. It's an Arkham Woods location. And it's sort of a rather an understatement, this one. This would be a nice picnic spot if it weren't for all the monsters. Oh, I love it.
Awesome.
Plus, isn't it always nighttime in the Devourer below? So
yeah,
like,
it's always nighttime.
yeah.
Exactly.
So like,
Yeah.
if you have a picnic in the middle of the night, like you're gonna get eaten.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And I actually just thought you could probably apply this to nearly any Arkham location or any game in the whole of Arkham Horror, the card game. This would be a nice picnic spot if it weren't for the monsters. So,
Awesome. Next one I've picked out is another Guardian card. It's an event. This one is Ever Vigilant. So the actual card itself is about playing assets from your hand more cheaply. But the flavor text is, he had to give Logan credit. The man knew how to gear up for Armageddon. And I don't think Logan has cropped up in Arkham Horror yet, but apparently he's in Call of Cthulhu, the card game, and as another way of getting gear and equipment. So it must be an Arkham Files character to some degree.
Yeah. This next one here is the Miskatonic Quad from Extracurricular Activity. Nothing funny about this one. It's just, I think, really awesome. It brings to life the quad. In fact, I think Extracurricular Activity does a particularly good job. There's a couple of cards that are quite evocative. And this one, the unrevealed side is, a too early winter has stripped the trees bare. Their dead branches whistle as a sharp, cold wind cuts across the empty quad. If you reveal it, it says, surrounded by fences and gates of wrought iron, you can't help but feel as much a prisoner here as a guest. It's fantastic. Really kind of just really brings it to life.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, really good. Yep.
Fantastic. So I'm sticking with Guardian cards, but I think I'm actually in Carcosa now. So yes, this is Inspiring Presence. And this is one of the things I like in Arkham Horror is where they actually include investigators that aren't even part of the game yet and don't turn up until maybe many cycles later. So this one, I think the artwork is Leo Anderson here waving a torch with cultists and shadowy figures behind him. But the flavor text is, Anderson's a hard ass, sure, always locking up the room and waking us up at the crack of dawn, but out here in the middle of nowhere, he's definitely the one I want taking point. That's just a nice thematic bit of flavor text, sort of summing up the character, Leo Anderson and his allies, and there you go. Just, yeah, good stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, I do like it when they include some of the investigators from the game, like in the flavor text, and they give them like little bits of personality. I do like when they do that.
Yes.
And yeah, that's just with the art and like 2 lines of text, and all of a sudden, like Leo Anderson is a more interesting character. Yeah,
exactly.
This one here again is from Extracurricular Activity, the admin building or the administration building. Again, really well written, really evocative. Around the aged administration building, creepers of ivy climb from the ground in an effort to claim it. The old hall stands alone in an isolated section of the campus, apart from the day-to-day bustle of students. Yep.
Another really good scene setting there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on to a survivor card now. Everyone's favorite, cherished keepsake. And it's, when you look at the card itself, there's no mechanics on the card at all. It is simply an asset with a single pip, and it can take 2 horror. It is just flavor text. And as a result, you probably don't even read it when you're playing it. So it's, Mr. Porterson always told Wendy things would turn out okay. But then again, Mr. Porterson was a teddy bear, and he didn't know any better. I absolutely love that one.
Yeah. This is my final one from Extracurricular Activity. Again, just a great piece of text here. This is the Orne Library. 3 floors of weathered grey granite. The library looks more like a reliquary than a place of learning. Stone gargoyles snarl down from above arched windows, and Latin script winds around the double doors at the top of a wide set of stone steps. Lots of lovely alliteration there. Stone steps and yeah, things like that. So very nice. Grey granite. Yeah, lovely.
Excellent. Okay, my next one now is a survivor event. This is Devil's Luck, and I love the way on this one the artwork and the flavor text and the actual mechanics all fit together perfectly, because it's an event. You play it when you're dealt damage or horror. You can cancel up to 10 of that damage or horror, but then you exile the card. The artwork is. It's basically it's like a trilby or a fedora or whatever. It's basically it's your hat on the floor with what looks like a bullet hole ripped right through it. And the flavor text is simply, "That was my favorite hat."
Yeah. Fantastic. I love that. Really, that's really great. This here is from this is La Bella Luna from The House Always Wins. And I like this a lot. It's the unrevealed side is La Bella Luna was a multi-purpose establishment, and if you reveal it, you can resign. This was a bust, and it says the music is cliche, and they only serve spaghetti. As far as covers for underground speakeasies go, it's not particularly creative. Yeah.
Fantastic. Right, next one I have.
You've got a shout out here for best scenario. House always wins. Just throwing that out there. You've evoked some fond memories.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those scenarios that you just instantly. It's so distinctive. It's one that people instantly remember. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Excellent. Right. My next card is. I might be wrong there, but I think there's a link. What we were just talking about is Knuckle Duster. Fight. This attack deals +1 damage. Yeah. Anyway, we're not bothered about that, are we? But it's the flavor text. Up close and personal, just the way Naomi liked it.
Is Naomi part of the Banyan gang or something? Or
It must be. Yes, it must be
Yeah.
that. That must be the only. That's the only Naomi in the game, isn't it?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I've got some cards here from the Miskatonic Museum, which is not anybody's. I don't think anyone would say it's one of their more favorite scenarios, but whoever wrote some of the text for some of the cards did a really awesome job, actually. Some very quite funny cards, but also, again, some evocative cards. The museum entrance is like that. The unrevealed side says the Miskatonic Museum is an opulent and stately building supported by expeditions funded by the university. Its sizable collection of exotic artifacts, curios, and art has drawn visitors from all over the country. And when you reveal it, it says, as you approach the museum, you draw your coat tighter around your body to keep the wintry air away. The full moon drapes the building in ominous, bright moonlight. I love that. The full moon drapes the building. It's really nice. Yeah. Really nice.
Sorry, I have an unexpected visitor. Come on, you. Taking the headset with it. Right. Right. Let's try that again. My next card is Cheap Shot, and again, it's a brilliant case of bringing the art and the flavor text together. The artwork there is you've got your investigator flinging some dust up into the face of a multi-eyed monstrosity that's facing them with, I haven't actually counted them, but there must be at least 10, 12, 15 eyes on display there. The flavor text is, aim for the eyes, they told me. I've got to get all of the eyes.
This is the exhibit hall from the Miskatonic Museum. The nature exhibit, which has got a stuffed bear and I think looks like a stuffed deer in the background. Nothing about this exhibit is natural. Love it. Yep.
Next one I have is Narrow Escape. It's a rogue event, so it's basically a way of cancelling an attack of opportunity, and you get a little bit of a bonus as a result. But the artwork, you've got. Taking my headset with me. Sorry.
I think we got a message from Ulthar here. I think someone's delivering. I think that I'm getting it through the brain case as well. I guess it was a little bit delayed. But it looks like Ulthar is behind you guys. And they want you to mention Miss Doyle. They.
Excellent. He's not going to leave me alone. Right. Okay. The next one I have. Well, yes, I've started reading this one, haven't I? It's Narrow Escape. The artwork, you've got your two investigators there hurtling through the scenery in a motorbike and sidecar. One of them is sort of half hanging out of the sidecar, firing the shotgun as he goes. But the flavor text is simply, "Next time I'm driving."
So speaking of driving, Solar J is driving the latest donation of $20. Thank you so much, Solar J, for donating to this excellent cause. And he brings the message: "Have a great day, everyone. Wishing you all well, and thank you to all contributors and donators." What a warm team spirit that you're bringing to this morning, Solar J. Thank you so much. All right, so. But back to the show. I see the cat has nestled. Oh man, I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
Man, Nate, are you seeing this, Nate? Like, I wish my cat would do this.
Oh yeah,
very
no.
effective.
I got it
That's
on focus.
brilliant.
Don't
Yeah.
worry.
He'll sit there for about maybe 5-10 minutes, and then that's it. He'll have had enough. He'll be gone.
Awesome. Next one I have here is the exhibit hall, the Hall of the Dead from the Miskatonic Museum. And it says rather ominously, "I need no reminder of my mortality. I know my death is imminent."
Classic
Fantastic.
Arkham.
Yes, right. Exactly.
Next one I have is watch this. It's that rogue skill where you throw it in, spending up to 3 resources, and you gain that many back as long as you succeed by twice that many back as long as you succeed by 1 or more. And the flavor text, I think, is breaking the fourth wall, because it's probably what most people sat around the table will say as you play that card. And if you succeed, the flavor text is simply "show off."
That's great. This is the final one from the Miskatonic Museum exhibit hall, the medieval exhibit. This one's where if you fail a skill test, you take a damage. And it's one of those great examples of where the effect of the card actually fits with the flavor text in terms of what's happening in the location, because it says rows of armor line the hall while instruments of war and torture hang from the walls. You should watch your step in here. So clearly, if someone fails a investigation test or something like that, they've clearly tripped on a mace or something and stumbled over a torture device and done themselves some damage.
Excellent. Next one I have, it's a basic weakness. It is overzealous. So the artwork is, your investigator is kicking a door open. There's all manner of tentacles and globules and spheres and whatever in there waiting for him. But the flavor text is, "Don't worry, I have this completely under control."
This next one.
Sorry, I was going to say that kind of matches with the actual weakness itself, because then you draw the top card of the encounter deck and that one gains surge. Nope, I've got this. Completely under control. Don't worry.
In fact, it's overzealous seems to have struck Nate Lost in Time and Space right in the heart, to the point where he just coughed up a $5 donation to the cause. Thank you so much, Nate Lost in Time and Space.
Yeah. I'm throwing cards into your deck, so have fun with that.
Oh, and that's right. I was wondering that was the perfect time to introduce. So, with a donation of $5 or more, you can take a reward, and the reward is you get to pick a card for my Lola Hayes deck later on today. It's Ultimate Chaos, because you, the owners, get to decide what kind of pile of monstrous cards that I'm gonna have to try to get out of the study with later today.
The first card I was nice, so we'll see about the other ones.
Okay. All right, good. We got a foundation. I'm gonna start the deck building immediately with that one card. Yeah.
You got 1 copy of Lucky, so hopefully it serves you well.
Oh, god damn it! You gave me a
A useful card,
Yeah.
man. Come on.
Yeah, no, that is useful. That's useful. I mean, you could have given me an unexpected courage.
Blah,
but,
blah,
you know.
hey, don't push your luck.
Could have been oops.
But that's right.
Could have been oops.
But could have been oops. Could have been oops. But that's right.
Don't give me any
type
ideas.
Type exclamation point donate into the chat box over there on Twitch to be linked to the donation page, and don't forget to look at those rewards as you're the reward as you're going about making your donation, because it as the description says, for a donation of $5 or more to this wonderful cause, you can make me include a card of your choice. Like, look at that. You get to take out all of your deck building, like, rage onto me by making me add this card to your little, like, oh, crap, I got a trench knife. I've just been informed. I've got a trench knife.
And a copy of
it's happening
Stargazer.
already, guys.
Hey, kids, give him a cookery.
All right. No, before we get a riot of kookeries and lures and... Oh, my gosh.
Blackjack.
They're gonna get... Yep. Well, back to you, fellas.
Okay, this one here. Sorry. All right.
No, I said awesome. Well done.
Sorry. This one here is from Essex County Express. This is an agenda card. Again, they're very evocative. I think this really brings things to life. It's Agenda 4A. It's drawn in. The gate crackles with power as its strength increases. Dirt and rocks from the edge of the bridge behind you are torn from the ground, and trees are uprooted, pulled in by the gate. One younger passenger smashes the window of your car and shouts, "We got to get out of here!" He leaps out of the window, but before he lands in the river below, he's snatched in the talons of a swift flying creature and carried out of sight. A trail of steam is left in the creature's wake. Yes. Not sure what the trail of steam is caused by, but anyway, there we go.
Excellent. The next one I have is Otherworldly Compass, Seeker Asset. So it's basically functionality is investigating to get reduce the shroud based on how many connections it's located to. But the flavor text, it always points where you don't want to go.
Awesome. This one here is from Dunwich. Out of time. What's the final scenario? I should know.
Oh, come on. I'm right here.
Out of ammo. Out of time. What's it called again? Lost in time,
Time and space.
Yeah, that's it. Of course. There we go. Oh, it was right there. Anyway. And this is called. This is the Edge of the Universe, and it says it's such a grand understatement. Nothing could have possibly prepared you for this. It's beautiful and terrible to behold. You're literally looking at the whole universe. So yeah, there we go.
Excellent. Just bear with me 1 second. My notes have just gone and closed themselves. Right, yeah. My next one is Dumb Luck. Survivor event. And the artwork, a fantastic piece of art. I mean, it looks like a dumb waiter. The sort of small lift that you can use to send food up and down in a hotel or whatever. So I think that's like the play on words for dumb luck as well. And it's got tentacles all oozing out of it. But it's an absolutely fantastic piece of flavor text on this one. It's fortune favors the oblivious.
I love it. This is the theatre location from Carcosa. And actually, I'm going to read the unrevealed side last because it kind of makes more sense that way. So the revealed side says, to say that the theatre is in disarray would be a profound understatement. The walls and seats, previously polished to a shine, are cracked and caked with dirt. The curtains are tattered and the set is stained with old blood. You aren't sure what's worse, the smell of rot or the nagging feeling that you've been asleep for a very long time. The unrevealed side says, must have been one hell of an intermission.
It's a shame they're that way round, isn't it? Because you don't quite. Yeah.
Exactly. They kind of work the other way. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, the next one I have is just for comedy purposes, really, and it's not quite, but it's almost winning the award for shortest flavor text in the game, and that is Stunning Blow. So it's that survivor skill where you successfully evade an enemy if you evade an enemy if you successfully attack them, and the flavor text is simply good.
Nice. But you said
Good.
almost the shortest. Is that correct?
Yeah. Almost.
Watch
What
this
is it?
space.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I've got the longest flavor text here next, which will take the next 20 minutes. But no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, the next one, the next one here is the balcony, and again, this is just really evocative here. To your disappointment, the balcony sections are much like the ground floor below, although every now and then you think you spot a figure moving silently in the aisles. Dun, dun, dun.
Okay. I appear to have slipped into a Forgotten Age without realizing, so apologies for not mentioning that before. But yes, I am halfway through Forgotten Age now. It looks like I have a rogue asset, the good old Lucky cigarette case, and again, it's a lovely piece of art with the cigarette case in the middle of the table with the poker chips and the dice, half-lit cigarette, and the elder sign on the cigarette case itself. And yes, as we play Lucky Cigarette Case, we do read into the fact that it is bringing us luck, it is bringing us good fortune as we play. But then as you look at the flavor text, it says, it's not really all that lucky, I'm just in the mood for a smoke.
Wow, talk about undercutting the card.
Definitely.
This next one I have is from the very excellent Last King in Carcosa. The entrance hall, the foyer, and this is the unrevealed side. It says the entrance hall is lavishly decorated, displaying the wealth of the manor's owners while still creating a welcoming atmosphere. Shall I take your coat? The doorman asks as you enter. It takes a moment before you realise the doorman has only bloody stumps where there should be hands. Takes a dark turn, doesn't it, at the end there? Yeah, very good.
Fantastic. Our next one, which I will butcher with my abysmal French pronunciation, is coup de grace. So this is a rogue event dealing damage to an enemy or your location. And if you defeat that enemy, draw a card. Then it ends your turn. But the flavor text, another evocative one, says 2 bullets cracked open the creature's skull. Then another, then another, then another. And I actually looked up what coup de grace actually meant, and it's a death blow to end the suffering of a severely wounded person or animal. But then you're firing 4 bullets into this creature's head just to make sure.
Very nice.
Or as we're discussing on the chat right here, it's a veggie smoothie, a cup of coup de grace.
I've got here the living room from The Last King, and it feels a bit sort of like the person writing this is actually looking at all of the cards and the artwork and wondering about this because it's got how many fireplaces does this place have? And actually, if you look at most of the locations in The Last King, they've got a fireplace in them. So that's quite a funny piece of flavor text because I think apart from the foyer, there's a fireplace in every location.
I think we picked up on that, didn't we, when we covered that on the podcast? Yeah, how many fireplaces does this place need?
That's right.
Well, the ventilation must be terrible. That's why they need all those fireplaces.
Yes.
You know, when you have that oceanfront property, you know, or that lakefront property, you know, it gets cold.
Yes.
Right, next one I have is Olive McBride with a little subtitle of "We'll try anything once, but we won't go there." So the artwork sort of ties in with the flavor text on this one. She's there raising her arms, levitating her book of spells, her tome in front of her. But when you look at the artwork, it looks like she's carved the symbols or sigils into her arm, and she's got blood pouring up her arms as she's got them raised. But the flavor text, it says, "You must invest yourself in every spell, sometimes literally." I just love the way that really brings the art and the functionality together. Yeah, brilliant stuff.
That's great. This here is from Carcosa as well. This is the Unspeakable Oath, the wonderful asylum scenario, which is a masterpiece in atmosphere. And I particularly like this one, though. The mess hall, the unrevealed side says, "A wide open doorway leads into the asylum's mess hall, where patients would have their meals. It's quieter than you expected. There are no chairs scuffling, dishes clanking, or patients speaking with one another." And the revealed side says, "Rows of tables are covered in dirty dishes and stale food. You get the feeling they took mess too literally here."
Excellent.
Yep.
Okay, my next one is a mystic event. It is Counterspell. So this is where you play it to cancel one of the symbol chaos tokens without revealing a new one. And again, the artwork, I'm guessing it's Dexter. He's or at least somebody in a very smart suit. Anyway, he's holding up a sign with the Elder sign on it. There's tentacles in from the camera's side point of view. So he's using this this Elder sign to say, look, exactly what the flavor text says, "Not on my watch."
Very nice. Very nice. This is another one from the Unspeakable Earth. This is the basement hall, which is just really evocative. Dank, not that side, this side, the revealed side. A cramped stone staircase leads deep underground to the basement level of the asylum. Cries and howls of anguish torment you from behind the hall's many iron doors. You can't imagine what it would be like to live your days in this place.
Really brings it to life, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, the
Okay,
Unspeakable
so
Oath, it's really good. Like it's one of those because like the Arkham Asylum is such a classic location from the board game, and it was such a treat to see like it given a whole scenario.
Yeah. You know, you really feel trapped. You absolutely feel trapped in this horrific place. They did such an awesome job at bringing that to life. Really great.
okay, so my next card, it will now answer the question of what I believe is the shortest flavor text in the game, and that is good old Defiance. So where you ignore the effects of all Skull Cultist, Tablet, or Elder Thing symbols revealed during this test, including their modifiers, and the flavor text is simply no.
Oh, that's right. Even smaller
It's
than
half the
Thud.
size.
Yeah.
Just no. This is not happening. No.
Speaking of flavor text, you probably say after you play the card, just no, no, thank you.
No.
You stay
No.
over there.
Yes. This one here is from Carcosa in the Catacombs, which is the I should know the name of this scenario. Sorry, in the Catacombs.
Pallid Mask, is it?
A Pallid Mask. That's the one. It's called Block Passage. A stack of human remains blocks the candlelit corridor. So you can see this huge pile of skulls and bones in the picture. This gives new meaning to the phrase "dead end." Another macabre
Wah,
joke there. Wah, wah. No bones about it. That one is quite a corny joke, that one.
No bones about it. Did you do that on purpose? Yeah.
Yes. It's my sense of humor.
It's very humorous of you.
Ah.
Ah.
Uh,
Well, I think we're ending the show early today.
Vase has just said Banhammer in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. My next one is trench coats. And this is I just like this is sort of again a piece of evocative text. It tells you more about the investigator as well. It's a quote from the Dirge of Reason, which I think is the Roland novella. And the flavor text is simply: Roland loosened his tie, tilted his hat, and turned up his coat collar. And when he was sure he looked respectably disreputable, he approached the door.
Yeah, that's great. I love that one. This next one I have is the Abbey Tower from Black Star's Rise. And there is a troll in this flavor text. See if you can spot the troll in this flavor text. As you peer into the vortex above, you can see the hooded shape of Hastur looming beyond, hand outstretched. His laughter echoes throughout your mind. You can see some poor person reading the flavor text during the scenario, saying the H word, and everybody screaming at them.
Oh, that's right.
Don't you said it.
We're supposed to use what hash brown. That's what we called Hastur. That's what my kids and I called Hastur to try and avoid it. Hash brown.
That's the lovely stuff.
I will say that one of the prolific deck builders start with the name. He once got me by getting me to say has to, and but it came out hasta. The investigator hasta.
I even feel weird saying it when I'm not playing the game. That's how well I've been kind of conditioned by that scenario, by that campaign.
Okay, so the next one I have, and I think actually it's my last one. So I don't know if you're about on your last one, are you, Robin?
I'm done.
Right,
I'm
okay,
done.
well that's worked out perfectly then, hasn't it? And mine is the trio of weaknesses that came in the Forgotten Age, the ones that feed into each other. There's only flavor text on the last one, but I thought I'd include them as a set just because of the way they all work together. So it starts off with Doomed. You take a horror, you record that Doom approaches, and then you add a Cursed Fate in your deck. And then a Cursed Fate works in a similar way. You take 2 horror, you then log that the hour is nigh, and then you put the bell tolls at the bottom of your deck. And then when you get the bell tolls, revelation, the hour of your demise has arrived, you are killed. And the flavor text that just sums up that whole process, and the thought all the way through it is meant for you. It always has been.
Very nice.
Love that.
Yes. There we go.
And there we go. That's about 50 flavor text cards there.
I thought it was
In about
top
50
10,
minutes.
and it turned into top 50. Yeah.
Yeah.
Top
There's
100.
too many good ones.
Too many. Too many
So
awesome flavor texts.
Do you fellas have, like, between you, do you have one favorite? If you had to, like, gun to your head for, for the children, for Doctors Without Borders, what would be your one favorite piece of flavor text?
Yep.
You got one?
I think it's that Defiance one for me. Just that simple no.
Simple,
Also, it doesn't take
straightforward.
much remembering either. Yeah.
Simple, straightforward. All right.
I think for
got?
me it's the description of the museum entrance in the Miskatonic Museum. The
Nice.
size, the full moon drapes the building in ominous bright moonlight, and you draw your coat tighter around your body to keep the wintry air at bay. But I think just in such a short, piece of text, it just manages to kind of just evoke so much. So really, really well done. You don't need much text to really kind of bring things to life in a really kind of evocative way, and I think that's a great example of that.
Nice. Yeah, plus it's the starting location, so it's like this is the flavor text you read when you're getting in the mood.
Yes.
Yeah, before you've pulled any tokens and cursed the bag and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the other one is probably the camp, the camp setup camp at the beginning of the Forgotten Age. That has a similar kind of feel to it. There's so much promise, but so much danger at the same time. So, yeah.
Nice. So we're gonna be taking we're gonna be taking for the next hour or so in chat. I want to see it in chat. I want to see your favorite flavor texts. I want to see which ones get you in the mood to play Arkham Horror, the card game. And speaking of the chat, just type in !donate to get you to your donation link, and that will take you to like the whole point of today, and that is to raise money for the amazing Doctors Without Borders. So I got a message coming in from the Migo Brain Case. In fact, one of the great old ones themselves has pitched in $5 to the cause, saying thanks Kevin Robin for sharing your feelings about the excellent, often unseen aspects of the Arkham LCG. I noticed you guys included even the unrevealed side of locations, which many players just never see. Yep.
Yeah, so true.
So true, yeah.
Yeah.
And just, I think the flavor text in general is really something you don't often think about. So it's really interesting that you guys really spend your time to highlight. I think an aspect that really doesn't necessarily need to be there, but just adds such a breath of life to a game.
Yeah, it does. And I think it also highlights that the in-game narrative is really important. Yes, you can have the text before and you can have the text afterwards, but what actually the narrative unfolds during the scenario is really important, because that kind of works in a more organic way than often just reading sort of pages of text just before or just after. It's because you're in the middle of playing. So yeah, it is worthwhile taking the time. I know, and if you're in the middle of a game, it's hard to do that, but just taking the time to read it when you uncover those locations, it's certainly worthwhile.
Mechanically, they add nothing to the game at all, do they? But it's all about the theme and the really sort of building the story and getting. Well, yeah, like I say, it's the theme. I've just run out of words. Theme, flavor, yes.
Well, sometimes when the H-man is in the flavor text, there's a game effect.
That's true, yes.
Which reminds me of another one that's pretty hilarious from Return to Carcosa. There's the treachery with the young child drawing the yellow sign. So it's called the sign of the H-man. And what's great about it is the effect of it is it attaches to the current agenda, and every time you take horror, you take an additional horror. So saying the name of the card that you just drew will cause you to take 2 horror instead of 1.
It's a double
Oh, wow.
It's like, well done, boys at FFG for getting us there.
So good.
Solar J in the chat says his flavor texts are the running ones, like the oozes in the blob. Could you give us a good example, Solar J? I'll pull one up and we can we can broadcast it to the world. Yeah, the ones about running, or the running ones, the running texts, running ooze, running from ooze. Yeah, there's several ways that could go.
Running on ooze.
Running on ooze. Yeah, it's an ooze machine.
Running into ooze.
Running into ooze. Yeah. All right, so Nate, why don't we? So what's up next on our agenda? It's almost noon o'clock my time, 8 a.m.
Almost.
your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got Vase and his brother and a couple of other people. It looks like they're preparing for a Call of Cthulhu scenario that Vase has been writing. So a little
Wow.
some fun facts about Vase and why he's been so busy lately is he's gearing up to write not only a full-fledged D&D campaign that he's getting published, but he's also in the midst of writing a Call of Cthulhu scenario that he's also working on getting published. So he's been quite busy in the background.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a published author amongst us. Excellent. And we get to see the. I'm guessing it's the world premiere of the scenario. That
Indeed,
the Call
yep.
of Cthulhu scenario.
Yep.
Is that correct?
That's awesome.
Yes, it's called Khufu
Nice.
the Internal, which I know nothing about, so he'll have to explain that when he's good and ready. But I'm looking forward to it. He's kind of shown me bits and pieces over the past couple of months, and it looks really exciting. I'm very much looking forward to what he's got in store for us later this evening, or this afternoon, or this morning, depending on where you're from. You know, this whole time zone thing. What is time, really?
We're in. What is time really? Well, we're
Not to get
all of
esoteric
us,
or anything.
We've got Australia, we've got UK, we've got East Coast of the US, and that's just the people talking right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and then we've got like through the brain case, we've got Ulthar, we've got various Migos. I don't know how they keep track of time, but because they're like so far out there, they got their own sun and stuff, so time is going to be a little different for them. Yeah, but we are crossing the borders, guys. We have no borders. Without borders, just like the doctors that we are raising money for today. Yep.
I'm trying to find some of my favorite flavor texts now. I'm like going through the old cards now, trying to find them.
So I guess on that note, like as something that you guys brought up, I noticed a few of the flavor texts. I think it's just because I'm on a Resident Evil kick right now because of the Resident Evil 4 coming out soon. But I noticed some of them, like that one in the attic, I think it was from The Gathering. Yeah. Like it just reminded me of how Resident Evil does their like you'd like click on a piece of scenery and it'll like tell you like it's a thing, and then it gives you like there's like a feeling, a dreadful feeling associated with it. That I think is very Resident Evil, and I don't know, I just like it. I was mentioning in the green room, before we started, that I'm a big fan of just rotting remains. A sickening display of gore causes you to retch. You're glad this wasn't you. Very classic, very, like I said, Resident Evil, and I love it. Yeah.
I couldn't remember which card it was, but one of my favorite flavor texts has to come from Gravedigger Shovel. Just the inquisitive of whoever wrote this is just really speaks to Arkham characters in general. It's a 2-cost asset, has an action to fight, you get +2, whatever. You can discard it as an action and get a clue, which is pretty nice, but I knew I should have, but I couldn't stop digging, which really, that's a great piece of flavor text. Nice. for investigators who really shouldn't be sticking their nose into things, they just can't help themselves. There's just that curiosity.
Yeah,
okay. I see Solar J has clarified what he's talking about with the blob is that some of the flavor text in the blob, they have, it's like a running report, where he's talking about we're subject 8L08B, and they hours like has a piece of the report, and then it like kind of continues, and each oozling has different text as a part of the report, so it's kind of like you have pieces of the document, on the flavor text.
Each one.
Okay, that's kind of neat. Yeah, it kind of creates that unity.
Yeah, that's really good. The other thing I'd say about flavor text is you could just devote a whole thing of flavor text on the resign text. That some of them are hilarious.
That's right.
This is not too much for us, or do we really need to? Or this is really kind of funny, kind of resign.
That's right. And of course, my favorite, resign. You get the hell out of there.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that was the first card that really just made me love Arkham as a game. Just like reading that on a card is just like, it's so great.
Yeah,
you're like, that is what I'm gonna do. Thank you.
It's so different, and also like the idea of of like a player card that lets you do something that a scenario you would normally expect from like a scenario location, like it almost breaks the rules in that way. It's just kind of like I remember myself, when I first saw I'm Out of Here, I felt the same way. I was like, oh man, this is amazing. Like the the card, like the cards, you're not so structured. The cards aren't caged in by what they can do.
It's not only
And
for me. It's not only that. It's just the actual wording of it. Like
the
it's
flavor text is in the ability.
it's not mechanical, so to speak. Like in its wording, it's very very much like that is what you would say when you play it. Like, yeah, I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm done with this.
Yeah. Like the expedition camp from Forgotten Age, which once you know that scenario, it even makes more sense. But at the very beginning, it's got, and would you ever resign? But resign. The wilds are too dangerous. It's like you've gone all the way into the jungle and you've just gone, that's
like,
it.
nope,
I'm out of here. I'm not doing this. I'm going home, having a cup of tea and a lie down. I'm not doing this.
You have to go back through customs. Got to go through security again.
But yeah, so you resign through the jungle. You're like, no, I'm good, and then someone else finds the temple. So you you let someone else do all the legwork. Like, oh, great, thanks, Alejandro. I'm so glad you found the temple for me.
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, I guess I'll go in. Let's see what this is all about.
You get all the way there, like you say, yeah, and then you resign in the very first card, but then you update your expedition journal to say exactly what you've done. And then someone to pick up the fact that you just turned up and then cleared off again.
Like, well, this was a lovely visit, and resign.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't realize about that I don't think we realized about the Forgotten Age was that the first two scenarios are actually a prologue. They're actually not the start of the game.
Yeah.
They're what's happened in the past.
Oh,
The present doesn't start till essentially threads of fate.
Yeah, everything in
Oh,
the first two is
wow.
from the expedition journal. It's all diary entries.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's written like it's in the present, which is really interesting because it's like your character is reading it and kind of reliving those moments. And then you get to Threads of Fate and you wake up essentially to that scene, spoilers, with Ichitaka. She confronts you and you're like, oh man, what the heck? I was just thinking about this.
Yes. Yeah.
And speaking of fears, I've just been informed that a kukri has been added to the chaos deck. I have a feeling who's responsible for that. I have a feeling. Yeah, that's right, folks. If you're just joining us, if you do !donate, you'll go to the donate page, where you can donate to this amazing cause, Doctors Without Borders. But if with a $5 donation or more, the reward, well, one of the rewards you get to pick is you get to make me include a card in my chaos deck. Well, I'm not saying chaos. Well, my very chaotic Lola Hayes deck later on, and it can be anything. Right now we've got a Lucky, we've got a Kukri, we've got a Trench Knife. Oh my god, am I going to be able to even get out of the study?
I mean, you've got weapons.
What's that?
Yeah,
I have weapons. That's good. That's good. They deal 1 damage, but I've got weapons. Okay. Yep. So now is your chance to either inflict great suffering, or make me play with your favorite awesome, crazy, cool mystic seeker spell 5 XP card, whatever of your choice. But with a $5 donation to Doctors Without Borders, I'm really looking forward to this. I've got the real question is like, which scenario am I gonna be playing? Am I gonna even be able to get out of the study? I don't know. Or do I get a little more ambitious and do I play like
Threads of Fate?
That's a good one. That's a good one. I mean, I might. That's on the short list now. Yeah, of like ones I could do. Yeah.
So you guys have been reviewing all of the scenarios in the campaigns. Which ones are standouts for you guys?
Kevling?
I mean, it's easy to say Threads of Fate, but only because that's the freshest one in our mind and the one that the episode we've just released. But it is an absolute classic, isn't it? With having your multiple objectives that you can pursue, having your multiple act decks, or 4 if you go with the return version, and just similar to what Matt was saying earlier, that the way the game has been structured, it has that much flexibility in the design space that they can do that sort of thing with the game. It's just amazing. It's something we'd not seen up until that point, and I don't think we've seen it again, have we? Multiple act decks. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's a standout. I think The Last King, I think is a fantastic scenario, party setting with the different very memorable characters, uncovering information again in a very organic way, talking to party guests, and then things go horribly wrong after a while. I think that for me is a really a standout scenario as well.
I've got a soft spot for the Essex County Express as well.
Yep.
The way the map thematically looks like a train. It is a train. Actually, the map represents exactly what you are traveling through. Whatever you think of the actual functionality of the game and how well it works and how well it plays, I just like that. There's a term for it, isn't it? And my brain's gone like skeuomorphic design sort of thing, where it actually represents reality.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, Essex County is one of my favorites. I love that one.
So it's really, really good. And we were saying before about Unspeakable Oath. I mean, there's some issues with scaling around Unspeakable Oath. It's particularly unforgiving for solo play, but I think if you house rule the scaling, maybe. But it's such an evocative scenario. It's a real standout as well for me. Yeah. So I think Essex County Express, Threads of Fate, Unspeakable Oath, Last King, I think they particularly stand out. I think. Yep.
I agree. That when you were mentioning I can't remember what it's called, the opening location of Last King, the starting location, where you talked about how the guy takes your coat and then you realize that he doesn't have hands. Well, like, that's pretty classic Carcosa right there. Like that double take, kind of like the double take of you go to the kitchen and it's like, action, start a fire. Wait, what? What?
Yeah. The other great thing about The Last King is the resolution, because the choices you can make are basically have you murdered everybody? Have you or if you go back in, it's like everything's normal again. So the ending of it is so unsettlingly ambiguous, because you feel like you should burn the place down, but then you hear all these screams, and then it's like, what have I done? Oh my goodness! It's really clever how it messes with your mind as a player. The Last King as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I love how Carcosa. One thing I like that games do very rarely, but they'll do is like, just because they give you the option to do something doesn't necessarily mean it's like a good idea. Like they give you the option. Yeah, when the option is you could burn the place down, it's like, but wait a minute, do I suddenly want to burn the place down because the game is asking whether I want to burn the place down.
Yeah.
And interesting, and that following on from last time you burnt a place down, there was a negative impact on you. So, do I actually want to do it this time? Is the game trying to double bluff me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always said that it's not a proper Call of Cthulhu or Arkham game if you're not burning at least one building.
Yeah, that's right. I think some people in chat have said Black Stars Rise and Machinations in Time have multiple agendas. That's right. Black Stars Rise does,
right.
but it doesn't work. Black Stars Rise doesn't work like Threads of Fate, because the problem with Black Stars Rise is the setup's complicated. Like Threads of Fate's a bit complicated, but narratively, it's really hard to work out what's going on unless you've played it quite a few times. So Threads of Fate doesn't have that issue. It really organically unfolds the narrative quite in a way that makes a lot of sense. Whereas I still struggle with Black Stars Rise, exactly what's going on. You're going up, you're going down, you're not, you are. It's like they learned from that, and Threads of Fate, they really nailed it. So
yeah, I wonder how much of that is intentional. Because Carcosa is meant to be a very mentally confusing campaign, narratively speaking. How much of that is like, no, we want Black Stars Rise to sort of put you into that, like, what the hell is going on sort of state. Because you're entering Carcosa, right? Like, the whole world is being affected by Carcosa at that point. So, I think it makes a lot of sense narratively to have that scenario be a bit confusing and a bit misdirecting in that manner.
Yes, yeah. I think the issue for a lot of people just reading Reddits and things is that people find the most challenging aspect of that scenario setting it up. So I think it suffers from a double whammy. Then it's complicated to set up, and it's complicated to work out what's going on. Like you say, it's sort of deliberately in that Carcosa way. But the problem is that's then a bit of a double whammy, particularly for people the first time, I think. So I think Threads of Fate, probably it's complicated to set up, but it's not so complicated to play through the story. So I think in that way, it doesn't have that double kind of cognitive hit, if you like.
We've got a flavor text contribution from Jason Conlon in the chat, who, by the way, is a fan of yours. He says, "Thanks for sharing your favorite flavor text, fellas."
Yeah,
And he really enjoys your scenario review episodes. He contributes the flavor text of "Knowledge is Power," which has the flavor text of "And power corrupts."
Yeah, yeah. Yes. Yeah, Jason, he's a friend of mine. He runs fortnightly Arkham events in Sydney here. He's a huge Arkham or the card game fan and supporter. So it's awesome that he's contributed that. Thanks, Jason.
Actually, referring to with Black Stars Rise, yeah, that is kind of a weird way of setting up. I guess because like you have to not know which direction you're going, and that's kind of hard to do in a card game when you have to set it up. So they have to like somehow make it blind. If it were like a PC version, it'd be easy, right? You just click a button,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But here it's like you gotta physically move the cards around. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think either Threads of Fate or Black Stars Rise, they don't really, this A, B, C, D sort of system doesn't really help. Yeah.
Oh, right.
It's kind of
numbers.
a little bit
Yeah, numbers.
counterintuitive. I mean, it works most of the time, but in those situations, you kind of think should just A and B and C and D going together doesn't always quite make intuitive sense. So
yeah, it's weird in that regard, because you think like, okay, I've got like Act 1, 2, and 3, but really the game refers to it as like Act 1A, Act 1B, Act 2A, Act 2B. So then once you start throwing C and D and E and F, you're like, wait, whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
See what they've got. And speaking of Act 1B here, we've got Vase. We got Vase is joining us. It looks like he's getting his audio set up.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Morning, bud. Must be nice and early for you over there on the West Coast.
Oh yeah, I was up at 3. Got some breakfast in, got my energy drink. I know you love those, Nate.
Oh, hell yeah, brother.
And you've got a Dark Fiction t-shirt. I've got the same one, Vase. That's an awesome. Yeah, such
Love
a good
it.
t-shirt. I love that one. Yeah.
Yeah, my
so
wife
good.
bought it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always get compliments on it. It's fun. It's really
good.
It's cool. It's a cool concept art.
Well, I guess while you're
that was
here,
fun, guys.
what about you, Vase? What are some standout scenarios for you since we have you here?
Arkham
regarding the
scenarios?
flavor text, you mean?
Oh, regarding flavor text. Oh boy.
Well, or atmosphere, or
Well, you guys know that House Always Wins is my favorite. Atmosphere wise, I think the spider one is pretty cool. But I don't remember any flavor text from it.
The hospital one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that one a lot too.
Yeah. Yeah, and then what's another really standout one? I kind of see. I'm a big fan of witches. I know Nate, you're not super huge onto the witches, but is it Witching Hour? Was that the first one from after the
Yeah.
prologue? In
Yeah.
I really like it. The woods, and then you find the coven kind of in a circle. Like that's really thematic. I really like that one too. A lot of the opening scenarios are really strong in this game.
Yep. Yes. Very hard to end these campaigns. It's very hard to have a good final scenario. Really tough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jim Carcosa. That's where he's at.
I mean, that's a good one.
I am partial to Lost in Time and Space, obviously. But,
of
yeah.
course. I mean, you name yourself after the scenario, right?
Actually,
You must
fun
hate
fact: it's named after the one little zone on the second edition board game. That's where the logo comes from.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So fun fact,
Yeah.
the name comes from when I used to play second ed a lot. I was always the one person that would get forever lost in time and space.
Time and space.
So I ended up playing, what's the one character that can't be lost in time and space? I ended up playing her a whole bunch just because I could never become lost in time and space again. There was like one game particularly, I spent half the game just going in and out of space over and over again. It was... You're like, well, I guess I'm hanging out here for a bit, and then I'll spawn somewhere else later on, and yeah. So that's where the name actually comes from. So then when I found out that there was a scenario also called Lost in Time and Space, it was, mwah.
Gotcha. Match made in heavens.